The huge taboo that is teen pregnancy. So, a lot of people don't actually know that teen pregnancy is at an all time low right now. This is according to the Health and Human Services. But despite, the continuing decline in teen pregnancy, there still is a rather large gap between Caucasian teenagers and minorities, specifically amongst Hispanics and African Americans. So I propose that with, more outreach programs, or at least getting the community to accept them, with medically accurate education and with contraceptives and the proper use of them, that we could significantly decrease this gap. So I'm going to start off by telling you guys about this story I read in the Washington Post about second generation immigrants. And they were El Salvadorian teenagers. They were sisters. Their families migrated to America when they were young. They met here, they got married here, they had their children here. And as they started to grow up, they started romanticizing the idea of love and a family and everything that comes with it. So they actually started, obviously started dating these guys, and they were 14 and 16. And so the younger sisters, like, no matter what the parents did, they tried to do everything to keep them apart. They even sent them back to El Salvador to live with family. They came back and immediately they got pregnant, because they, in their minds, they're like, well, if I get pregnant, my family has to accept them. And then the bubble was popped. Finances became an issue. They had to seek help. And when they were asked, why they got pregnant, they said that they were never really taught, or, it wasn't really explained to them. And they immediately regretted their decision. One of the boyfriends is in jail, and the other isn't really in the picture. So this is just one story of, teenagers who are out there who romanticize the idea of love. And if there were more outreach programs out there, because outreach programs, the way it goes is, the money comes from the government and it kind of funnels down. And a lot of money is given to, programs that actually have higher success rates or have, different things like that. So as it's starting to get dispersed, places with a lower income kind of get the bad end of the deal, because they kind of get the least amount of resources. So I guess with, if the community just accepts these outreach programs more, because when people think about, like, let's say Planned Parenthood, they think, oh, abortion. I'm not even going to get into that today, because that's a whole nother thing. But that's not where primarily the money goes. It actually goes in health screenings, educating children, giving contraceptives, or teaching them what contraceptives are available to them, what long-term uses are, like what the pill is compared to like an IUD, because one is longer lasting than the other and actually has a better success rate. So being able to really explain this to teenagers and giving them the opportunity to choose what is best for them. And if people aren't, if you're not a fan of Planned Parenthood, to each their own, there are so many outreach programs out there that are available to you. I mean, Google San Antonio Teen Pregnancy Outreach Program, or wherever it is that you are. I mean, there are just tons of programs out there that are able to help you and able to help give you the proper education, because like with the El Salvadorians, it's an awkward conversation and it's taboo in a lot of cultures to talk about sex. So, try to maybe somebody else, let them talk to your children for you if it's not something that you can do. And, with that, again, like I said, sex education. So it actually really surprised me that sex education isn't mandatory in America. In fact, only 24 states mandate sex education, and only 13 states actually mandate that it be medically accurate. So with when people don't think of medically accurate, they try to scare you, or they try to beat you into abstinence, or, you know, sex is the devil, and, you know, you're gonna get AIDS and die. So there are just so many misconceptions about sex, and there's actually, studies have actually proven that it doesn't even help at all. So that I think that was according to Planned Parenthood. So they said that it actually wasn't even helpful, that the rate of teenage pregnancy, actually, of them having sex, actually doesn't make them stop. I mean, they're still gonna go out and have sex. And so that's why I propose medically accurate sex. So America is actually one of the highest leading, has the highest leading teen pregnancy rates as far as a developed country. So, and this is comparing to other countries, to like the Netherlands, which is 3.5 times, or their rate is actually like at 5.1 to every 1,000, to where America is 20.3 to every 1,000 teenagers. Germany is 3.5 times lower than America, and France is 3 times lower. And the only difference is that sex is medically, or sex education is mandatory. It's mandatory from being children. And I mean, it's age appropriate, so like they integrate it into the school system, and it's not a taboo. Like, they're taught medically accurate facts, and their teen pregnancy has proven that it's a lot lower than America's. So, like I said, with more outreach programs, more accurate sex education, contraceptives, and their proper use of them, that's a no-lose situation. I feel like, I definitely believe that we will decrease the disparity amongst Caucasians and minorities.